Welcome back to a very British space program as we spin round the planet really fast. So this is the UK Observer craft with our biological payload, also known as a koala bear that we put up last time. It's time to bring it back down. So last time we sent up this craft, our biological sample return craft from Spared Adams. It was its first launch from Spared Adam, and we're going to bring it back down now. So we've burned retrograde, we've slowed it down, and we're just going to float our way through the atmosphere nice and slowly. We're just coming back through now, and hopefully not have too many problems. So it comes through the atmosphere. We were a little concerned. It's quite a tall craft, this, and there's a weight distribution issue, I suppose. But it re-entered okay. We got a little bit of overheating on the actual heat shield, but it sort of settled itself down okay. I'm not sure I'd want to go much higher with these heat shields, and it actually does show us that there is limitation. I probably could have taken a more gentle re-entry profile angle and slowed it down a little bit, or come in steeper. I'm not entirely sure what would have been the best way to do it. I think it's something we're gonna have to refine. Anyway, the parachute's open, yay, and it comes down upside down. Well, that koala is gonna have a problem, and it's probably going to drown. Ah well, success. So moving on, 26th of June 1959. We're hearing chatter and talk about the USSR preparing to make another attempt at hitting the moon. So we're going to race our Pilgrim 1D to the pad, knowing that a failure in this launch might actually hand first contact with the moon to the red tide. It seems on this day even the Americans are going to support us in our moon missions, which is quite nice, isn't it? So we launch up, and you've seen this craft before so many times. It is just... It's becoming quite the workhorse. I'm actually surprised its engines have not had a problem, because the reliability on the RZ-1 engines I've based off the S3 and S3D. So they were, although the RZ-1 was basically built by Rolls-Royce, it was a Pratt & Whitney sort of collaboration in many ways when it was built. So it was not the most efficient or the most sort of highest of quality of consistency of engines to start with. It did improve a lot, and Blue Streak was, at times very good craft, but I'm surprised that we haven't lost engines, and in the same way that we actually haven't lost any of the Spectres or anything recently. We haven't had an engine failure for a while, so I'm a little nervous if I'm honest. I don't mind losing an engine in a cluster, but anything else is concerning. So we're basically firing up ourselves into orbit, and you've seen this quite a few times now with this craft. It's very capable. It's become run of the mill. We're getting used to it. The Red Maiden 6A or 6B or whatever it is now, it's just the upper stage engine our utility stage, is all ready to do its job. It waits for itself to basically get near to the burn point, and go for it. Annoyingly, a lot of our lunar launches at the moment in Australia are in the dark, and it would be nice to have one in the daytime, but of course it is very much dependent upon what time of year and where the moon is and things like that. So we burn away, woofly, and you know what, at this point I am really on edge, because I'm convinced we're going to have an engine failure, and I'm convinced that I'm not going to hit the deadline for actually beating the USSR, but surprisingly, amazingly, no, we do not have a problem. I'm sending up the Pilgrim craft as is. We haven't stripped it down, we haven't reduced anything, we've taken off its scientific equipment just to cheapen it. But we've still got pretty much the same fuel load, because it allows us to basically refine the launch if there's a problem. If we have a problem at any point in the launch, this craft could still make up some of it because of the fact that it's got fuel on board. So it's actually a double thing, and it also means I don't have to refuel tanks and everything. So it basically orientates itself. It fires some of its little thrusters to make sure it's going to hit the moon, and 5 days later it comes into the sphere of influence of the moon, and we see it here flying in. And this is actually, I think it's beautiful. The moon in this is stunning, and of course we have pictures of the moon, because we have satellites orbiting the moon. Unlike the USSR, the British have decided that we're going to orbit before we hit into something, so we know if we're not going to hit anything important. Anyway, we come down, and it is a case of just watching this thing plummet towards its doom. And of course, the satellites in orbit are going to be taking note of what's going on. They're going to be monitoring the situation. And we're going to look at what comes up. Is there anything interesting? As we come down, the cameras on this craft are going to be transmitting video images as quickly as their poor quality selves can of the surface. And of course, then there'll be the total blackness as nothing is coming through. So we come through, and you just see us coming closer and closer, and just drawn closer, and finally the end. So, with that, let's keep going, shall we? 24th of August. We're going to have to send up another Oculus, this time from Spade Adams, because, well, Spade Adams is now our polar orbital launch facility. On the 7th of August 1959, the USA announced Explorer 6 satellite had returned photographs from space. Seems that they are competing with us a little bit because we've already done that, although the fact that they are able to do that is becoming a little concerning, actually, because it seems our lead is being nibbled away by the Americans and the USSR. The USSR is pushing at the moon, and the Americans are pushing in orbit, and it's just getting very crowded, and we don't like it. So in response, we're going to send the Oculus 1A craft up on the 24th of August, right after them, into a polar orbit. We're going to go over the USA, and we're going to take pictures. We're going to take some pictures. In reality, we actually want a lot of science, and there's a lot of science up there to be taken. Nobody's really taken many pictures of the planet. So the Red Princess 4B is just a workhorse right now. This craft, this Oculus 1A, will spend about 24 hours in orbit. It's got enough electricity to spend longer than that if it really needed to, but about 24 hours just floating around, getting all of the stuff. We then transfer the film into its canisters, transfer into our return pod, and you've seen this before, very nice and easy. We're just gonna burn away with that little command and control pod on the bottom of our return capsule, put it into a nice orbit where it's a return orbit trajectory where it's going to be about 45 kilometers is its periaps. We let it go and let it drop through the atmosphere, and we'll pick it up. It's nice and easy. Look at this, just flying through the atmosphere beautifully. Yeah, it's getting a little bit of heat, but actually not bad. So it's doing really well, actually. We actually get quite a lot of science from these missions at the moment. There's still a lot to be garnered, and when I say a lot, it's not hundreds, but it's enough just to keep the scientists happy, and that's important to us. Also, we can sell them on postcards, because everybody wants the postcard now with the Earth on, and so we're making a fortune from it, pretty much offsetting the space program, because of course we're running on a bit of a budget, shall we say, a bit of a budget situation. So anyway, we're going to do a Pilgrim launch, but before that, we have on the 26th of August and 1959, we're going to launch the White Javelin 1C with Rodney Hill. I think this is Rodney's first flight, and he's going to try and complete an X-Planes high and difficult contract with the aim of reaching 170 kilometers and returning safely. So we've gone to this height before, but not in an X-Planes high contract. It's actually a suborbital flight. So now the X-Planes high are getting really high for the difficulty. We'll probably start doing some of the standard ones. But Rodney goes up there, he gets it. If he hadn't have succeeded, the UK-based team were ready to go with the White Javelin 2A, because of course competition breeds success is what we're doing now. It has taken every single drop of fuel to get to that altitude though. On re-entry, he does a sort of semi-nose up altitude change, and then he realizes he's about to land in a lake. So what do you do if you're going to land in a lake? You can either try and go over the top of it, you can either land short, or you can just turn the craft. So after the Javelin 2A's sort of turning around in the past, it's well known that these craft have got a bit of ability to turn while at high speed, so he gives it a go, and you know what? Beautifully done. Well done, Rodney. So this craft is superb. He also picks up a bit of science while he's doing it, because he's doing a lot of flights over the desert at high altitude and suborbital flights from space, shall we say. So he's actually building up quite a nice bit of science, and we're also getting science coming in from our polar craft around the moon. So we're actually getting science coming in quite consistently right now. Anyway, he comes down through the clouds, and puts down beautiful little glide slope, takes the energy out of the craft, and then just plops it down, air brakes on, everything's sorted. A beautiful, nice landing. If you want to learn how to do that, that is how to do it. So, next, we're going suborbital. Yeah, exactly the same time. It is going to be the White Javelin 2A. It is going up. It is trying to defeat him, shall we say. And we've got ourselves Kim Jarvis in the seat, going up, taking it, hopefully going to actually surpass his skill, shall we say. It's not a difficult flight, so it's another one of our suborbital flights, and we're basically able to rack through these at double pace. The difficulty is that actually the reset time on the X-Planes High is actually 120 days, so having two planes isn't massively important. You'll see, however, that actually with this craft we get up to 170 reasonably easily. We have fuel. We could have actually done it with fuel in the tank. We decided to do some speed, increase our velocity sideways to try and really practice our returns. You see, we're taking these flights are about us learning the re-entry characteristics that we've got, and you see there Kim she loses it a little bit on the return, but could have been worse. So again, we've got that whole situation of what we're doing. Yeah, we're going to do a turn. We're going to do a turn, and yeah, she's basically going to try and turn it round. This is the 28th of August, so it's actually 2 days after Rodney's flight. You know, obviously we can just do that. She manages to push for a speed record on the way down though, and she got it over. She just missed out on the 3,000 meters per second speed record because of a re-entry situation. She did have belly first re-entry, which was nice, but did need some work. And then she's basically just playing around with those high speed turns and slowing the craft down. She's heading north. She's not going to make it to Spade Adam, but she does make it up to sort of Yorkshire area, and obviously, you know, it's a bit hilly there, so she's going to fire the parachutes off, and I'm sure there's a base there that she can just, you know, walk into with her craft, and they'll sort her out. We were actually going to miss the south of England, so it was a good turn. Anyway, while all that's been going on, we have finished another one of our Pilgrims. This is Pilgrim 1E, and it's been waiting on the launch pad for now. So this is the 14th of September 1959. Everything's coming really fast at the moment. So we've got this is in the last 2 months. This episode has basically spanned 2 to 3 months of our program, and the Pilgrim 1E is going to be another impactor. It's basically the same craft that we used last time. It turns out the day before this launch that the Russians have impacted the moon. It seems they sent up another craft, Lunar 2, and it seems they have joined us in impacting the moon. So we got there first, but the time difference between us and them is tiny. It's literally within months now. Their launch capability is, I would suggest, significantly better than ours. I think we are on a race to more powerful rockets, and we do not foresee at the moment an improvement in our rocket capability. Without a major upgrade to the craft we have right now, to those first stage boosters on the Trident, we are pretty much stuck with payloads that we've got. So we're going to have to look at what we can do with what we've got, but we do not have any research waiting on for rocket engines. We are refining our electronics, our avionics. We're looking at, you know, power regulation. We're looking at some space plane stuff that will be quite interesting in the future, but we do not have any bigger engines on the way. We just can't actually afford them, even if we did have them. So we're going to have to potentially just let the USSR and possibly the USA catch up, and we're going to have to pick our fights a little bit on this one. We're not able to throw the money that others would throw. So anyway, while I've been rattling on, the Pilgrim 1E has put itself on course for the moon, and here you are. You see it coming in. Beautiful little thing. We have, I believe, one more of these to go, and then we're pretty much done with impactors. We don't need to waste any more money on impactors. We're getting pretty much all the science we need at the moment, and this one's going to hit on the dark side, which is going to be nice, isn't it? Look at that. And it comes in really calmly, and we're closing in, closing in, closing in. You can feel it closing in, and as the ground comes up, the moon comes up, I'm going to say until next time, have a great one, and hopefully we can try and keep ourselves ahead of the USSR and the USA, because this is starting to get very, very close. Have a great one.